Northwest wild. Hunting, fishing is my kind of style. I float the Wainuchi when it gets hot. I'm proud of all the things that I've got. I'm digging in moss bags up in the sand, and after work a cold beer in my hand, picking wild berries off God's land, and drinking my buddy's homemade wine. Living Northwest wild. Hunting, fishing is my kind of style. I float the Wainuchi when it gets hot. I'm proud of all the things that I've got. I'm digging in moss bags up in the sand, and after work a cold beer in my hand, picking wild berries off God's land, and drinking my buddy's homemade wine. In the Northwest wild.
Hey, good evening and welcome, Fish Out Northwest, Wayne, England, and Tommy Donlan back in studio. It is Thursday night, it is 6 p.m., and we are here live once again. Glad you all could join us. We've got a lot of folks coming on the screen here, signing in with comments flying already. Really appreciate that, so hello to all of you. Great week we had in between shows.
We did. We did. That's understated.
We're going to get into all that. Lots of stuff going on. Holy smokes, we have a pile of news things to cover through the opening segment here, so hopefully you'll find a lot of this information useful as it is, current, relevant, and a lot of things that are going on out there. Oh, hello, Roger Hinchcliffe, tuning in from the Great Lakes. Gotta love it when the Michigan boys are tuning in. Sorry for all you folks over there dealing with those floods. Yep. There was a couple dam breaches that happened, so a lot going on in that regard as well. John Cruz tuning in as well. Lots of guys tuning in tonight. Really appreciate it. So, before we get too far along, I want to remind everybody, Fish on Northwest is presented by Better Homes and Gardens Pacific Commons Real Estate, located in Puyallup, Washington, and of course our good buddies out there at Defiance Marine in Bremerton. Defiance Marine, manufacturers of the Arima, the Allied, and the Defiance series. Check out what they have going on out there, and or if you simply need your boat repaired, maintenance on your motors, things like that, you need to check out what they have going on at Defiance. They will take care of you and do a very nice job. So, with that, Tommy, lots of things that we stumbled across this week. We'll get into all the fishing and stuff. So, basically on our brains as of this week, you know, with things finally opening back up May 5th, and as we've transitioned through this first 10 days or so, we have opportunity. You know, Lingcod and Halibut opened up yesterday throughout Puget Sound.
They did.
So that has put the smile on the face of my co-host for sure, and we have some opportunity to get after very soon in that regard. We're actually planning an outing here in the very near future and see if we can't put that together. So, Lingcod and Halibut on the agenda this evening. Also going to check in with our good buddy Mike Ainsworth, First Light Guide Service. The Skykomish opens up Saturday. Okay, summer on Steelhead should be on the brain of many, as it is that time of year already. The last Saturday, just before Memorial Day, is what they give us for our opener on summer on Steelhead. So a number of our rivers will be open this Saturday, the Skykomish being one of them. The bonus there, Tommy, my man, is you have an opportunity now to start pursuing Chinook in terminal areas.
Oh boy.
The first river within the state that starts receiving, we're not talking spring Chinook now, we're talking summer kings that transition to fall kings. We have an opportunity on Chinook in the Skykomish, and of course summer on Steelhead starting this Saturday. So we're going to check in with Mike. Not just going to talk about the Skykomish though. Shortly thereafter, for crying out loud, June is almost here. June 1st, we'll see that opener of Resident Coho in Area 10. Of course, we still have Lingcod opportunity in Puget Sound. I already mentioned the halibut. So we'll check in with Mike and discuss Skykomish opportunity, Resident Coho opportunity, and of course Lingcod opportunity as it continues. We'll get later on in the show. You got a fantastic how-to lined up on rigging for halibut, the things you need to know to get ready, right? Yep. And we'll also jump into, got a great video we've put together of our outing the other day with our buddy Matt messing around fishing charters. We had a great day on the water.
It was phenomenal.
Wasn't that great?
Yeah, unbelievable.
If somebody would have told me, hey, you're going to go out and have an opportunity on that many lingcod in Puget Sound, I would have told him pack sand, because that ain't happening, right?
14 lingcod in 3.5 hours. Get out of here.
Yeah, it was pretty substantial. Not to mention we lost track of a number of rockfish too.
Rockfish population's coming back for sure.
And the electronics would support that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it was blown up and
Video evidence.
yeah, so great opportunity we had. So we did capture a lot of that on video, and we're bringing that to you later on the show. And of course, we'll have another fantastic recipe of the week with Chef Kelly and Sheri. I would be remiss if we didn't give a shout out to our good buddy Chef Kelly, and our condolences in the loss of his mother yesterday. Very sad, unexpected, and we're just, our hearts and our prayers go out to Chef Kelly. So if you can find it in your heart to say a little prayer for Chef, he could use a little uplifting right now in that regard. So sorry for his loss of his mother. Now, moving on. Things going on around the Pacific Northwest and beyond. Tommy, we got a halibut opener that was announced very recently, and it actually started yesterday.
It did. We didn't get a whole lot of reports yesterday, but it was a little windy yesterday.
It was.
Not a whole lot of folks made it out, but it did open. And the good news is that we've got, and I'll read it off here, 77,550 pounds to catch.
Do you know what that compares to as far as like last year or the last couple of seasons? If I didn't have time to look that up, but
I know at least for the ocean, it's a little bit, it's on par.
Sure.
It's around the same.
Okay.
But, the good news is now is that it's open every other day. Now, they felt they needed to do this in order to kind of promote that, the social distancing, kind of minimizing the number of people that are flooding into a given area. But it is open every other day until June 30th or until we catch the quota.
Right.
Okay. So there's actually going to be quite a bit of opportunity here.
Number of days there.
Yeah.
When you're talking every other day.
And we're talking areas 5 through 10, by the way.
Yeah.
And, the one thing that we do need to remember throughout all of this is really make sure, it's part of the regulation now, you have to have a descending device for rockfish.
Yep.
Okay? That's really critical. Okay, we've actually gotten a lot of scientific data that supports releasing rockfish with a descender device actually is proven, and those rockfish survive into that next year and beyond and reproduce. So make sure that you have something in mind, and later on when we do the tutorial, we do the FHN bait lab with Max Lure, I'm going to show you a couple of the descender devices we use, so make sure you don't miss that. A lot of opportunity for halibut coming up. Haven't heard about the coast yet, but I think, with the direction that we're headed with opening of areas 5 through 10, we've got a shrimp opener that's not quite official yet, but it's on the step. It's right next to being official.
Right.
Things are looking up in terms of opportunity.
Yeah. And it's kind of nice that as it relates to Puget Sound, they give us every other day through June 30th. So we're kind of finalizing that Puget Sound opportunity as we start opening up and getting into, once we're mid-July, our Chinook season opens up,
right.
Our salmon season opens up in Puget Sound. So we're not stacking those fisheries as you and I had talked in the previous couple weeks. Concern for that. Still obviously have that concern for our ocean fisheries because they're not officially open yet.
Yeah.
But as you just mentioned, hopefully we're moving towards that. So
the other good news that I got to mention is, Mason Olson's Marina in CQ is open right now.
Oh.
So, what I'm looking at is I've got my eye on that ocean salmon fishery that opens June 20th.
Yeah.
Okay, out of Nia Bay. And, I've been talking with, Michael Lawrence Boo at Big Salmon, and it could honestly go either way. Right now, Nia Bay's declared June 30th as their open date.
Okay.
And if that is the case, I'm really hoping that at a minimum we launch out of CQ and we're able to go hit a lot of the areas, a lot of those king salmon areas in Area 4 out of CQ. And it adds 14 miles each way, but you know what? It's worth it.
It is worth it.
So that's something to pay attention to.
And depending on the size of your boat, it's not that long or uncomfortable of a run.
Right.
I mean, it really doesn't take you that long.
Not when you compare it to a 160 nautical mile, tuna run.
Yeah, good point. That's a pretty short distance to jump on and go take advantage of. So, we'll keep on top of that as we do each and every week. I mean, you're in contact with a handful of folks that have their, pulse on it, trying to launch this thing as soon as they can and let us know, right? So, things to look forward to. All right, with that, yesterday, the last few days, you probably noticed there was quite a bit of information pushed around social media, and one topic in particular had to do with an option for gillnets to be put back into the Columbia River, and that would be to go after springers, of course. And so that got pushed out by a number of groups, CCA, NSIA, and just a handful of recreational folks that launched that information to get out there with a link to go ahead and join in, listen in, or even speak on behalf of yourself on a conference call yesterday at WDFW, ODF&W. Reference the proposal or the option of a gillnet fishery that would have taken place today. Now they said small mesh tangle net, which we're splitting hairs here, it's a gillnet. Okay, so I was busy, but I went ahead and turned it on the old phone. That conference call lasted upwards of about 3 hours or so. At one point, I believe there was about 125 people listening in. There were representatives from organized groups, NSIA, CCA, and a handful of others, Puget Sound anglers. There were a number of recreational folks listening in. There were a contingent of, gillnetters were in there, and some tribal representatives in there, and of course, WDFW, ODF&W staff representing those agencies in conversation. So they start off, Ryan Lathrop put out a lot of numbers, and I was taking some notes trying to listen in on what exactly we're talking about here. And long and short of it was they had information that would lead you to believe there were 645 or so spring Chinook to go after. And I'm sitting there, I'm hearing these numbers, I'm thinking 645 spring Chinook to go after. So keep in mind that a lot of the information that was pushed out was solely to say, hey, they're talking about conducting this tangle net fishery. They're also advocating to give recreational opportunity 5 more days on the water. Now, we're fishing way later into the season than we've seen in a very long time, simply because of the COVID and everything else that's been going on. And they had this revolving schedule going into it that they were going to monitor weekly dam counts, and then if they could afford another 4 days for recreational, they would do so. And we talked quite extensive with Bill Monroe Jr. as that was developed and how that plan came to be. So backing up, looking at the true numbers of what's really going on, they have downgraded this overall springer return this year down to 72,000 fish, Tommy. That's the lowest it's been in, I'd have to go look it up. It's down there at the bottom of it's been a long time. Thus far, we have about just a little over 43,000 fish have gone over Bonneville. Extremely low number for this time of year, okay? It is performing at 1/3 of the 10-year average. It's in at about just barely making half in your 5-year average. So these numbers are low and concerning, right? Yeah. Now, so it's actually the worst run, the worst upriver run since 1999. They've already calculated that. Based on the wire code tags and the fish that have gone over the dam and where they're destined for, they know the run performance over the dam currently midway through is the worst since 1999. That's why last week when you heard me talking about the alarm bells were sounding for the upper stretches, the Idaho folks in the hatcheries stating they are not going to make egg take on a number of these hatcheries. Now, a week later, we have a number of Upper Columbia River, Washington hatcheries that are also concerned they will not make egg take. And there's certain areas where they're not going to meet escapement needs. And you're hearing all this, and it's been emphasized, we're not making egg take, we're not making egg take. But the lower river, Washington, Oregon, they're still vying for opportunity. Hey, we should maybe do 5 days of recreational. Hey, let's get a gillnet fishery in there for 645 fish. Overwhelmingly, at the end of it, lots of people spoke in opposition of the concept or the idea. Everybody basically came together collectively, same thought process. Why are we even having a discussion about harvesting fish?
Yeah, right, that's what I was wondering.
When we know we're going to be well below egg take. And keep in mind, 60% of these upriver brights on these spring Chinook that everybody is so, drools over, 60% come from those Idaho hatcheries. 60%. So if they're screaming they're not making egg take and there's a conservation concern, what do you want this program to look like in 4 years?
Right.
So, common sense took over. The 95% in support of not conducting a directed fishery, both on the recreational side and the commercial. There were a ton of commercial gillnetters on the phone. There's, I think, one guy that said if they want to give us an opportunity, I'm not thinking it's a great idea, but I'll go do it. Everybody else was going, no, this makes no sense. Not to mention, there's a lot of shad starting to show up in the river. They're talking about the complexity of clearing their nets. If they were to get a so-called wild springer and or steelhead, they have 2 revival boxes on board that they're required to have. They got to release those fish in hopes that they make it. Mortality rate is what it is. There's concern there. There's just a lot of negativity to even conducting that type of fishery on numbers that are producing so low, and all the conflict it might create. So long and short of it was, I actually saw the email today, because they closed out the thing, basically both ODF and WWFW saying it sounds like we have an overwhelming support to not conduct the fishery. Now keep in mind, they also stated the reason they put this out there for people to discuss and talk about is because they want to make folks aware of the numbers, let you all decide what is the best course of action, what should we do, and make decisions based on that. They didn't feel comfortable just saying fishing's closed, and then have all these groups come back and go, well, why? I thought we were going to get more days. So they let the numbers come out. They let the groups kind of beat up on it for a bit, take it all in, make a decision. WDFW announced today that springer fishing is closed. There'll be no more opportunity for springers. It's the right decision. We're in dire straits on that particular program. That thing is hurting. I don't know what the future holds for that. There's a lot of things that are, creating a lot of problems for the survivability of our springers, and it just keeps getting worse.
You said the lowest since 1999.
For the upper river fish. Yeah. For the fish to make it back.
What were you doing in 1999?
Me?
Yeah.
I was 10 years in my career.
21 years ago.
Was it really?
That's crazy.
See, you're an engineer. That math just comes out of you that quick. Yeah, 1999, 21 years ago. Yeah, I don't know what I was doing. It's probably fishing. But anyway, that's heading in the right direction in regards to conservation. Now we just got to do the right thing we can to hopefully they have a few hatcheries that get a few extra on the egg take, and they can share and spread it out, and and rear as many smolt going into this next year as they can as possible. So
what I do love about what you said is that you're willing to have that open forum. That should be a common thread across every subject, regardless of the subject. So we want to talk about, how are we going to take care of our pinniped overpopulation? Yeah. Let's have an open forum on that. Yeah. Let's discuss that.
Kind of know the answer will be 100% support.
I do, at least from the fishing side of the house, whether it's commercial or right.
Yep. Okay, with that, hey, we're talking about openings and closing, and here's another one. Tentative dates that you were able to get your mitts onto. Tentative dates that haven't really been pushed out there yet from any official agency, but a high probability that we'll land there. Shrimping to open in Puget Sound, and schedule that is, again, tentative, and also here down the road, maybe next week, we're going to have a nice tutorial on getting folks ready for shrimping. Huh?
Absolutely. Okay. Yep. We're gonna take care of that halibut how-to tutorial today, and then, like Dwayne said, we're going to cover everything that you need to know to be successful with spot prawns. Okay, and I'll be honest with you, if you are not successful after watching this how-to, we will make Dwayne do something drastic.
Like?
I don't know. European. I'm thinking
you're gonna throw that out, and you don't really have a plan.
European cut speedo. No.
Nobody wants to see that.
Maybe eat some of the bait that he brines up.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right, but back to the shrimp dates. So we got shrimp dates for marine areas 4 through 12. Okay, and it's different by every single zone. So you have to pay attention. Now remember, as Dwayne said, I'm going to say it again, these are tentative. These have not been confirmed yet. We are still waiting for the official announcement. But here's the thing. As soon as you can, you want to be aware of the dates, because what I'm seeing is the state's reaction to COVID is to give very little notice and make weekday openers of things. So if we can put tentative information out, and make sure that's at least in the back of your mind. If you're a planner like me, you can start planning for that date.
That's a good point.
And wait for the official announcement.
Right.
Otherwise, you may get a notification on Sunday afternoon that it's on Thursday, and you can't take off work because it's too late, right?
Sure.
So we need to start realizing that, part of the strategy of the state in order to prevent the number of people going into a given launch ramp or to a given area is actually to give very short notice on an opener. That was the case with our halibut opener in areas 5 through 10. We got a couple days.
Yeah.
Okay? So, if everybody realizes and can acknowledge the fact that these are tentative dates, I think we can work with this. Some of the major zones in Area 7, tentatively, May 28th is your first opener for 7 South, 7 East, 7 West. Now, once you get into this, the sound, 8-1, 8-2, okay, down into Area 12, June 11th.
That's it.
That's it.
One day.
That's a Thursday. Mm-hmm. Okay. That is a day after I get back from my super secret squirrel mission.
Sending you out on assignment.
Talk about
right.
assignment.
Yeah. Sending you out on assignment. Of which June 11th happens to be a Thursday, as you mentioned. We'll be doing a show that night, but we are more than likely heading out early and doing some shrimping that day. Yeah. We're going to get on the water as soon as we can. That's our first opportunity that we're going to take advantage of. So that is coming. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
Number of dates there again, tentative. But to your point, let's not drag your feet and wait. Already got a handful of folks on here saying, "Hey, man, they're ready to go." They're just waiting for the dates to announce, and as you should be, because we're behind schedule on pretty much everything.
Yes.
And folks are waiting, and you guys know how these shrimp openers go. They put the dates out. It's full on, man. You got to get out there and get yours.
Style.
You got your 4-hour window. It's time to get it done. Yep. The tutorial that you'll hammer out next week is going to be money. You definitely want to tune in. Going to teach you how to properly bait and weight your shrimp pod. Talk about how to pick them up on electronics, locate them, look for whatever structure we need to find them in. You're going to cover all that stuff. I can't wait.
Absolutely.
So, right on. Okay, moving. I'm going to skip the next in line here based on time and what we got going on. I want to remind everybody, the official Washington State Trout Derby actually will kick off here May 23rd. Okay, Saturday, May 23rd, official kickoff date for the statewide Trout Derby, and prizes will begin to be awarded as soon as June 1st. And so if you catch your fish with its yellow tag, make sure you hang on to that, call the phone number and the information that's on that tag, and see where you can claim your prize. Typically, those prizes will be claimed close proximity to the lake of where you catch the fish. And by the way, there is a fish in one of these lakes around here somewhere with a tag that would reference FHN. Fish Hunt Northwest is a contributing sponsor to the annual Trout Derby, and we're going to prize you up with a bunch of FHN swag, hoodies, hats, maybe some coasters, maybe some beer pints, which you took a look at those tonight and said, "Whoa, yeah, we got some nice stuff."
That's right.
So,
yes, indeed.
Yeah. Anyway, we jumped on board to help sponsor that, because who doesn't want to help sponsor a statewide Trout Derby, which launches again Saturday the 23rd, is officially off and running. If you've already caught a fish with a tag, you can redeem that prize still, just because you caught it earlier than the official kickoff. I think we mentioned it last week. Don't just discard that tag. You can call in starting June 1st and redeem your prize. So lots of good prizes out there to the effect of upwards of $40,000 worth of prizes and gift cards and things.
Really?
Yep. Huh. Yep, there's over 100 participating businesses, and they're offering more than 1,000 prizes. Again, this derby goes until October 31st, which is the last day where your lowland lakes close back for the season. You still have your annual, lakes, or your year-round lakes will remain open, but any of the lakes that are on the schedule, which normally would have been April 25th through October 31st this year, those lakes close October 31st. The last day, October 31st midnight, is the closing of the derby. So, again, 100 participating businesses, 1,000 prizes, and over $40,000 worth of goods to go get. I can't wait till we get that phone call and persons give us the information. You can't just look up the number on our Facebook page and call and say, "Hey, you got it," because there's a line of questions you have to answer with the proper information, and if you ain't got that code number, you're not getting free FHN swag, I can tell you that much. Right. So, Tommy's already tried. It didn't work out for him. Okay, moving on before we jump out for a break. Remind everybody, hey, we continue to get folks signing up for our unofficial, not really get together over there at Banks Lake. Fishing Roosevelt, Lake Roosevelt for kokanee, triploids, and walleye, and of course Bank Lakes for walleye. That is June 4, 5, and 6. Shing and I will be heading over there on the 3rd, getting set up there at the Skydeck Hotel and the Cooley Playland Campground. And so you can contact Nikki over there at Skydeck Hotel, contact Hal or Lou at the Cooley Playland Campground. And again, rooms are $75 or $85 a night, normally $130. At the campground, your campsite, whether it's tent or hookups for your RV, as little as $30 per night. You're going to be right along the waterfront there. Again, this is unofficial. This is not an organized event.
It's a non-organized non-event, right?
Correct.
Unorganized non-event.
Unorganized non-event.
Yeah.
We're going to be over there fishing. We just thought maybe you'd like to come hang out, and there may be some fishing gear left on a table for you to pick up, and there may be some dudes standing around wearing a Max shirt or a hat that says Max, and they might be talking about fishing. They may throw out a few pointers here and there. They may even talk about how to rig or read electronics if you ask them the questions. Maybe you're walking to the general store and you see some guy standing there and you go, hey, what do you think about this for rigging for walleye? You might break into a conversation. There could be things to learn, and it's just going to be a really good time hanging out. So make sure you contact Skydeck Hotel or the Cooley Playland Campground. Go to our Facebook page. It's pinned to the top. All the information is there. Phone numbers. Get a hold of them. Let them know that you are part of... No, let me back that up. Let them know that you heard this Fish on Northwest and that you would like to, maybe come over there when those guys are hanging out and see if you can't, get a room. Sound like a plan?
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like we're well within the regulations that are mandated that we follow.
That's right.
So, looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun, and the weather's going to be absolutely beautiful. The fish should be biting, and who doesn't want to take home 2 to 5, 6 pound kokanee?
God, those are tasty too.
Huh?
You've turned me, man.
Yeah. It turns you into a different.
Pretty special.
Turn you into a different fisherman.
Yeah.
All right. Any final thoughts here before we jump out, Tomo?
No.
Cool.
I think you covered it.
All right, we are going to jump out for a quick break. We come back, we're going to have our buddy Mike Ainsworth on the phone, First Light Guide Service. We're going to talk about that Skykomish opener. We're going to talk some Chinook. We'll talk some summer steelhead approach and how to go after those pesky little critters. We'll also probably delve into a little conversation about the resident coho for folks that haven't done that. Light tackle, i.e. kokanee type style gear to go after these 2 and 3 pound fish. That, by the way, you want to talk about a flavorful little critter.
Yeah.
Those things cut so red with all the krill that they eat out of Puget Sound. You throw them on the Traeger, oh my gosh. You think you're living large. So, resident coho, Lingcod and Puget Sound, Skykomish River opening, and summer steelhead overall opening this Saturday, the 23rd. We'll delve into a number of those conversations with Mike Ainsworth, First Light Guide Service. We come back right here on FHN.
Marine is the one-stop shop for the Pacific Northwest angler. Whether you are looking for a small skiff to fish the Sound or rivers, or a huge offshore tuna machine, Defiance Marine has it. At Defiance Marine, be sure to power your boat with a Honda outboard package. Take advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty on your Honda outboards. Our service department is always here to help and serve you as the customer. Did you know Defiance Marine has boat financing experts to help get you the best term rates on your new boat purchase? If you need financing for that new boat, call us today. We guarantee the best price, best service on a repower for your current boat. Defiance Marine is a Honda Premier dealership and one of the largest on the West Coast. Defiance Marine also carries all the gear that you will need. Everything from auxiliary kicker motors to fishing tackle and bait. Defiance Marine has certified technicians that are top-notch at their job. Some of the best in the Pacific Northwest at evaluating your boat issues and problems. Stop in today or give us a call for all your needs at Defiance Marine.
At Metals Supermarkets, we understand your need for fast access to a wide variety of metals, so we've made it easy. Our network of stores carries a wide variety of metal in all different types, shapes, sizes, and grades, with no required minimum order size. Who could ask for more? Simply tell us your dimensions online, on the phone, or in store, and we'll cut or process the metal to your desired size, often while you wait. We offer same-day service and can deliver the metal right to your door or job site. We even source hard-to-find metals, so no matter what you're looking for, Metal Supermarkets can provide it for you. And we're conveniently located with brick-and-mortar stores in Seattle and Portland, so you can check out our extensive stock for yourself. Superior customer service is guaranteed. Quality service from real people who know metal. We are the small quantity metal experts. To place an order, simply call a store to talk to one of our knowledgeable customer service representatives. Fill out a quote request online, order off of our e-commerce website, or visit one of our many locations and pick out the metal you want. Whether you're a small or large business, government, homeowner, or hobbyist, we make it easy for you to buy the exact metal and just the amount you need. We've been doing this for over 30 years, so we know how to get it done. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for metal. Visit or call a Metal Supermarket store near you today.
It's easier than ever to browse homes and connect with an agent on the go with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate's mobile app. With the app, your home search is synced across all of your devices, so you can pick up your home search anytime, anywhere. Take full advantage of an enriched, mobile-optimized map search experience. Use location services to quickly find homes near you that match your search criteria. Draw your own map boundaries to find homes in a specific area, and apply layers to view school districts, neighborhoods, zip codes, and more. The app's user-friendly design makes it easier than ever to find a home you'll love. Narrow down your search results, save your search criteria, and save your favorite homes. You can browse your saved homes in a list view that puts photos and key details like price and square footage right at your fingertips. Or check out your saved homes displayed on the map.
Hey, welcome back to Fish Out Northwest. Wayne England, Tommy Donlan in studio, and our good buddy Mike Ainsworth, First Light Guide Service, on the phone. And if people could hear the conversations we're having during the commercial break, I would have introduced him as Mike White Claw Ainsworth, but we opted not to do that up until just now. So anyway, you're actually on your boat at the marina, getting it ready to get out tomorrow, aren't you?
That is correct.
Gonna go chase some halibut?
We're gonna go give it a go.
Okay.
It's not something I've done a lot of. Done it a couple times in years past. Just never. You get spoiled when you go over to Canadian Swisher Bank, and you fish a white Point Wilson dart, and you catch 15 different species of fish with one lure.
What's your plan of attack for tomorrow, Mike? Is it anchor? Is it drift?
No, I'm going to do the drifting. When I got this boat in years past, the wife and kid and I went out on a pretty windy morning, and we tried to do the anchor game and pay out. So we're going to change it up and do a little drifting, Kind of see what we can come up with.
Yeah, well, cool. Well, before you get too far into the halibut fisheries, we also got a plan for the up-and-coming opener on Saturday the 23rd. You get your beloved Skykomish back open for Chinook and Steelhead. So, based on current conditions, water flow, and I don't know if you've heard any reports, what are you anticipating for this early start of the season? You think we got some opportunity there?
Well, this is kind of the second time that it's been open this part of the year. Normally it's a June 1st opener.
Yeah.
I know as of last year, the opener was not very good, or good as people were hoping for. And myself, I don't typically partake in the opener. There's so many people. It gets busy. So I let the eager folks get out there for the first day or two, and then I go and see what's happening. Listen to the reports, and then go out and make my own reports.
Sure.
And see what we can pull up with.
So as it relates to chasing Chinook or chasing Steelhead on that river, with opportunity on both, much of a change in your approach or your game plan? We bobber dogging, side drifting, using eggs, using beads? Will you put a specific bait out there and technique and solely focus on Chinook for a while, or do the same for Steelhead? Or is it just kind of you run the same program and whatever bites the bait?
Yeah, so as you know, I do a lot of bobber dogging. It's such an easy technique for beginner folks and even for the folks that have done it a lot. I mean, bobber goes down, it's only, it's one of two things. It's either a fish or it's bottom. So you crank tight on it, and if something pulls back, game on. But as far as the baits and stuff go, I do, a number of different scents. The kings are pretty particular as far as where they typically are, going to hide. And so we know when we go down there, it's like, okay, guys, usually those are deeper holes. So we'll set our bobber stops to the deepest part of the bumper that I have on my bobber dogging setup, so we can get all the way down to the bottom. And we've got them, suspended sometimes. Sometimes guys get out, they get bored, they get lazy, they don't want to adjust, and sometimes you get surprised. So I just think the bobber dogging is pretty much the way to go. I'll go out there and play with buddies, and we'll side drift, and we lose more gear. So as you know,
yes.
more time in the water, right? More time effectively fishing. So
now, what is the dogging part of bobber dogging? Where does that come from?
It's a good question.
It's because the bobber goes through the water like a tail on a dog.
Like a tail on a dog.
Wagging, bobbing, weaving. Yeah.
I just say we're chasing those bobbers like the tail on a dog.
We're chasing those bobbers like a dog in a ball. How's that, Tommy?
All right.
Yeah, look, Mike and I didn't invent the name of this thing. Salty guy. But once you get out and do it, you're going to understand that it is, it's even, it's taking a guy like you, putting him on training wheels, and you can catch a fish. Yeah, that's what it is. So,
I'm in.
Let's talk a little bit about the gear setup, Mike, as far as, again, you're fishing for Chinook and Steelhead. So if somebody who hasn't really done this before with that multiple species that they can chase, what's a good all-around type of rod that they want to get, like a 10-foot 8 to 17, and/or we run a braided line because we're using floats. Also, how strong a leader are you using? Now you're in a jet boat, so you can chase them. Guys might have to beef up a little if they're in a drift boat, but just kind of break down your rod, reel, and terminal gear presentation, kind of educate folks on what that looks like.
Yeah, anybody that knows me or follows me on social media knows that I'm a pretty hardcore Okuma guy. The rods that we're running are the Guide Select, and those have been a really, really nice rod, super light. They're only a 4 to 10 rated. So they're pretty light, in the whole scheme of things, especially when you hook into one of those big Chinooks. But as you said, in a jet boat, you can just keep moving along with them.
Yeah.
In years past, I think one of the bigger kings we put in the net, was pushing 30 pounds, and we probably followed him, over a mile downriver to tire him out. And with that light of a rod, you can't bend his will. You kind of go along for the ride. So primarily, I'm running 12-pound test leader.
Okay.
And the reason I do that is because of those kings. Obviously they got big mouths. So if they swallow that bait, you want something a little tougher. Mm-hmm. If they're down there thrashing around, they don't just saw right through that leader. I know a lot of guys like to run light leader, but I've just run all fluorocarbon. I got away from doing some fluorocarbon here, some mono here. I just tie it all in fluorocarbon, and I just don't have to worry about it. If it is truly invisible,
right?
Then it should be fine. So that's kind of my go-to, and it's worked, and so we kind of stick with it.
Sure. What do you think is prime time that we'd anticipate the height of? Typically, what is the height of that Chinook run when we should see the most of those creatures in the river?
Like I said, last year it opened up early, and it didn't seem like there was as many fish as it normally is in the 1st of June. So, water temps, water levels, I think play a big part. You never kind of know. I think it's just a matter of getting out there and seeing what's happening.
Right.
A few years back, they opened it late. It was like June 15th or something like that, if I remember.
Yep.
And I got that email, and within an hour, me and a couple of buddies were out there. We whacked out a limit of kings for all of us. So
that's right, mid-June. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that photo.
I would say by mid-June, you can pretty much figure there's going to be a really strong run of kings in there, and it'll go all the way into early July.
Yep.
I anticipate that there's going to be steelhead in there, right off the get-go.
Oh, yeah, good point. Hey, we'll switch topics real quick here. One of your go-to niches that you've become pretty well known for and very successful, resident coho fishing Puget Sound Area 10. Opens June 1st, and it's a kick in the pants. Tommy wants to find out a little bit about your program, type of gear you're using. Is it, a lighter tackle show? Kind of what's your approach on that whole deal?
Yeah, I like to go as light as I possibly can. I think you were mentioning something about kokanee gear, and that's kind of one of my favorite go-tos is running like a 6 to 10 pound rated kokanee rod with a 1 ounce banana weight out the back of the boat with a cup plug or a whole herring. I think you remember that when we were shooting some Pautzke video out there. We pulled into a pile of birds and dropped that one light little rod in the water, and within 30 seconds we were hooked up on it. So that's a real fun time. So during that, obviously the fish are kind of small just because of that time of the year. They're eating everything in sight and trying to grow up and not fit in anybody else's mouth. And but it can be a lot of action, really fast, really violent, and like you alluded to, they're really, really good eating.
Mm-hmm. Are you targeting the riptides out there? We saw a few swirls on our way up the sound there looking for lingcod. How do you find them?
Yeah, like I was saying that morning that we went out doing the shooting Pautzke videos, we saw just a huge pile of birds just going ballistic on the surface, and a bunch of bait on the surface. And so that time of year, especially early in the morning, you can always target that first 30 feet of water column, and you're probably not going to have too hard of a time finding them, whether it's dragging spoons on the rivers behind small flashers, or just like I said, banana weight with a cup plug is pretty deadly. The Brad's cup plugs are pretty good as well. They're really durable.
Yeah.
And those fish are just so aggressive. There's not too much that they're not going to try to eat.
Right on.
Yeah, and guys shouldn't be afraid to downsize that to like that 6-ounce Dodger is a perfect size to go after them things, wouldn't you say, Mike?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But, I throw relatively fast for them. So the Dodger has a tendency to spin versus, do the side to side.
Versus rotate, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Any particular color? I mean, just chrome with some UV or some flash tape on there, or do you go into specific different colors that you think would work better?
Anything from silver horde seems to get the job done.
Yeah, good point.
There's not too much. I don't think with those guys that time of the year really makes a difference. As we get later in the year, they may start getting a little pickier. But the tried and trues, the red racers, just all white, purple haze, car, and there's not too many that aren't going to get the job done for you with those little guys.
Right.
But like I said, as it pushes on later into the season, that's when they might start becoming a little finicky. And sometimes they're just not there. If you're not getting bit, just try moving.
Sure. Yeah, good point. Because there's a lot of them there, but they're not always in the same spot. You got to go out and seek and destroy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Especially when you start getting some of those big tides, that's going to push those fish around.
Oh yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, outstanding. You're booking trips for Skykomish and booking trips for resident coho and lingcod. Where can folks get a hold of you and make sure they get on your boat, because they're going to want to, as they'll have a fantastic day.
Yeah. The number is 6-817-0394, or you can send me an email at flgs@live.com. Direct message.
I think he's going back in his boat cabin.
Yeah,
because he's breaking up on us there.
He's that excited to start.
Yeah, he's like, I'm getting inside my boat cabin. So, all right, buddy, we'll let you go so you can get your boat ready for tomorrow when you head out after some halibut. And of course, Tommy and I will be waiting for a report. So, good luck, be safe, and go out there and post some photos for us.
All right. White claws away.
You got it, man.
There you go.
Claws away. White claw down. All right, we'll see you. Yeah, Mike Ainsworth, First Light Guide Service. If you didn't catch that, 206-817-0394. You can also look him up on his Facebook page. He's very active on social media, Instagram as well. Actually posts up quite a few really, really great photos. So, yeah, Mike's a great guy to fish with. If you have not done so, you're missing out. He not only just gets you on the water and gets you on some fish, but he teaches you a lot throughout the day. He's not afraid to, put out the information and treat you to a great day.
And he's got one hell of a fishing platform, too, that Allied Dominator.
The Allied Dominator is no slouch of a boat, right?
Yeah.
Beautiful boat to be on and very comfortable and bathroom and the whole deal. So he's taking care of you just fine out there on the salt, and he's got a nice sled. He runs up and down the Skykomish. You're going to enjoy your time no matter where he takes you out, and you're probably going to get into some fish. So, all right, with that, we are going to jump out for a break. We come back. You and I are having a little discussion here, buddy.
Yes, we are.
We had a great day out there chasing lingcod with, as we mentioned earlier in the show, with Matt Messing. Messing around fishing charters, and we went at it with a single approach, which oftentimes when you hit the water you have different things, backup plans, plan A, B, C. Nope, not us. We said we're going to go fish live bait, and when that doesn't work, we're going to fish more live bait. So that's what we did. And you had a little different approach than kind of how Matt runs his program. But at the end of the day, kind of like, yeah, there's some stuff working here definitely. And your experience in fishing live bait on other fisheries. When you ask me about fishing live bait, I look at you and say earthworms or sand shrimp. What do you want to talk about, right? So anyway, that's why this works so well. We have our differences and expertise.
Yin and yang.
Yeah, yin and yang. So stay tuned through the break because we come back. We're going to break down this lingcod fishery, nuts and bolts, successes, failures, what we learned, what we tried, and just how fantastic it really was. And we want to help you guys to get out there because there's plenty of them to be had.
There is.
Yep.
I was worried that when the season had been open for about a week and a half.
Right.
I was thinking, man,
this is picked clean.
It's going to get picked over.
Right.
Not the case.
Not so much. So. So we will definitely jump into that. So stick through us with the break here. Don't go anywhere. Lingcod, deep discussion, lots of education. We come back right here on FHN.
A Northwest favorite for almost 40 years, Arima boats are manufactured with pride right here in Bremerton, Washington. Arima Boats offers all of our boats with Honda outboard packages so that you can take full advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty from your Honda outboard. With literally thousands of Arima boats on the water throughout the Pacific Northwest, Arima boats are a proven hull design that offers incredible fuel economy and all of the amenities that a serious angler is looking for. All Arima boats are built without any structural wood materials. That is why we back our boats with a lifetime warranty. All of our Arima boats are designed to maximize deck space while also providing ample seating. Contact us today at Arima Boats for all your boating needs and let us help you get out on the water.
Hey, welcome back to Fish on Northwest in studio here. Kind of an interesting thing, getting a lot of messages blown up here that if you're tuned in via Facebook, apparently we have closed captioning now for all our hearing impaired followers on our page. They've been asking for us to be able to do that for quite some time. Nothing I did. Apparently it's Josh's black magic making that go around this evening and getting it done. The kid's smarter than he looks, I'll tell you that much. So, however he figured that out, surprised me, but hopefully for those of you tuning in and picked up on that, that is fantastic. Apparently it's not on YouTube, but nonetheless it is on Facebook, and we appreciate that. So, hey, Tomo, as we've mentioned, and if folks had followed us via the Facebook page and whatnot, they saw the photos. Had a pretty doggone successful day with our buddy Matt out there chasing lingcod. And
yeah, we did.
To be honest, first time we fished together. You know, we've known each other for a few years and have run into each other a number of times, but to actually be out on the water, first time.
I think it worked pretty well. You stayed on your side of the boat. I stayed on my side of the boat.
We'll go to the video. But you know, familiarity is one thing. You are very schooled up in the realm of fishing live bait.
Yeah.
Just like, you know, going in your backyard and starting the mower for you. It's just commonplace, right? I mean, I get the concept, and I fish a lot of bait, not necessarily always live bait, but a couple takeaways for me, you know, well, we'll go to the video later. You'll see what happened to my lingcod rod. Pretty hilarious, actually. So I ended up switching over and, you know, utilizing some of Matt's gear. He runs just a straight rig and pins a 4 or 6 ounce cannonball to his snap swivel, and, you know, drops it down. And it wasn't that I wasn't hooking fish, and it wasn't that I wasn't getting bit. And I caught a number of fish throughout the day, and more so in the afternoon after you cherry picked all the large behemoths off the bottom. But we went into a little more detail in the video that they'll see here in a little while on your setup.
Yeah, you'll see it in the video, and really the main difference between Dwayne's rig and my rig at the beginning of the day was that I had my weight on a sliding sinker. So as soon as I felt that bite, as soon as I felt the lingcod take that live shiner perch, I could feed it line, right? We were fishing circle hooks. So, you know, the way a circle hook works is the fish has to take that bait in its mouth, suck it in, turn away, and then you slowly increase the drag on the reel. And when that happens, that hook comes tight just right in the corner of the mouth. Okay? And so you have to be able to feed it. Well, if you've got a weight connected with it, that weight itself is going to pull the bait out of the fish's mouth. Yeah. I think that's what you were struggling with early on, is that circle hook just wasn't seating because it didn't get a chance for that fish didn't get a chance for it to turn and hook in the corner of the mouth.
Yeah. And so understanding that when that main line is sliding through that swivel on that dropper. Right, exactly. Is key. You got to have that sliding capability, and you can use one of the manufactured sliders, or you can use a barrel swivel, which works just as well. Simply put a bead to protect your knot above your inline barrel swivel that goes from main line to leader, and rig that slider. But it makes sense. A lot of the fisheries we do, when you're in rivers moving current, Puget Sound for bottom fish, different opportunities, you rig a sliding sinker, and for a very good reason. And compound that with a circle hook, in as you explain the mechanics of how that truly works, the hook up to land ratio success goes much higher. Getting plenty of bites, and you feel like it's a lot of short strokes, and how did I not get a hook into that thing? You know, lingcod historically are chasers, and they like to grab the tail end and just hang on and go along for the ride. Some of the baits we're using were pretty small.
They were.
Those pile perch. And I think equally successful in herring and the pile perch, whatever we put down. If it was live and swimming and kicking, it had some attractability, and those fish jumped all over it, whether it was the rockfish or the lingcod, because we caught a number of both throughout the day. But I watched you go fishing in the bait tank multiple times, and that's where your hunt started, because you're looking for the big herring that's a strong swimmer. Or, you didn't just dip in there blind.
You know, not even just the herring. Like, if there was one shiner perch, right, that was number one in the tank, like my Michael Phelps, I'm grabbing that bait. Okay,
Win in the race?
Right? And so, I sit there and I will stare at all the baits in the tank, and I will target the one that I want to grab out of the bait.
Yep.
And then I'm going for that bait.
Yep.
And I'm grabbing that bait. I think that's where, and that's the same thing with tuna fishing, and that's where that's your first opportunity for mistake, is you grab the one that's easiest to grab. Right? That is not the one that you want.
Right.
Another thing that's nuance of hooking the bait is, I'm a firm believer in, you want to impede that little bait as little as possible. So you're going to hook it crossways, sideways, through that little clear plastic part in their nose, not pin their mouth shut, right, and keep them from breathing.
Right, good point.
So that's another little nuance that's really important. You guys will see it in the video, but that knot to the hook is very important. You got to have a very flexible knot to hook connection. That's critical. Yeah, because that's going to help you seat that hook in the corner of that lingcod's mouth.
Yeah, I'm a believer. Once you showed me that, I was like, oh no, that is different. I didn't think about that hinge point in your knot as the hook hangs there off your leader, and allowing that bait to also swim freely. The old adage, big bait, big fish. Well, I can tell you, none of those big lingcod you got came on a 3-inch pile perch that I recall.
Oh, one of them might have.
Are you sure?
Well, did you notice we puked that one lingcod? Right. Or he puked. It's not like we didn't really puke. We might have helped him by holding him a little bit. But he kind of emptied his stomach contents there, and he had all of the above in his stomach. He had sand dabs, flounder. He had shiner perch. He had herring. Yep. He had all of the above. Another thing that we should mention too is anchoring versus drifting. What did you think about that?
Well, as we're on our drift and we're hooking fish pretty much every pass, whether it's a bottom fish, a rockfish or a lingcod or what have you, we kept drifting by these couple boats that were anchored who had little to no action. I think at one point in the video I even asked you, Tommy, those guys sit on anchors, does that make sense to you? And you're like, no. And me, even my limited knowledge on predator type fish, ambush type fish, if you're sitting in one spot and they're sitting in one spot and you're not passing your bait past their strike zone, right,
it's like you're in prime archery season for bull elk and you're bugling at them from a mile away,
right,
and you're not moving, you're just standing there
just waiting,
right,
waiting for them to make a move.
It's the same thing. So they were just in the wrong spot, and I talked to my brother-in-law. My brother used to dive all the time on the Canadian San Juans. And he would just see, and I've seen it diving too in our San Juan Islands, is that if you've got a current coming kind of over a ridge and down off the backside, those lingcod will be parked like cars in a grocery store parking lot, side by side, waiting for something to come over the top of that hill so they can eat it.
Right.
You know what? That's exactly what was happening, because every time we would come off the top of that hump, on the bottom side, we were hooked up.
Yep.
Every time.
Somebody. Yeah, and it worked our advantage. We would come up over that hump, drop down on the backside, and there they sat and wait, right? And keep in mind, in that general area too, we had a ton of rockfish and different species of fish and bass and stuff swimming around and clouding up the screen. It was a pretty active little area, and we never fished any water consistently 30 to 60 feet. Yep. 30 to 60 was our transition. Once we got past that 60 point, Matt would run back up to the top. We'd come up, work upslope, and then we'd come over the crest of that thing. We'd come down on the downslope side. If we didn't hook anything on the upslope side, we'd definitely get them on the downslope side. Yep. And it was pretty consistent. And we didn't change our program one bit. It's like what we were doing was working. As a matter of fact, you, in your boisterous voice and excitement, continued to put it out there when we would hook up, and pretty soon we had droves of boats coming over to that general area, and eventually the two that were on anchor, the uprights as I called them,
they finally got it.
Because we kept splitting the uprights, right?
Yep.
It's like, hey, here we go, splitting the uprights, and we'd coast on through. Well, they finally pulled anchor and started having a little more activity, so that was good to see. But it was definitely a successful morning to early afternoon. We were off the water in short order, had our 3 keepers, had a number that we released, trying to keep those bigger ones, and very successful. Any other tidbits of information you want to throw out there?
Well, it was phenomenal. Even for the season being open for a week and a half, you think about it. I actually looked at the clock. We were only on water, on location, for just under 3.5 hours. That's it.
14 lings and countless of rockfish, and we just, a little rain off and on, and not too windy. The other key that I thought really favored us, and I think I mentioned it in the video that we'll see here shortly, our tide change was minimal. We had a total water push of 3 feet from low incoming to high tide was a max movement of 3 feet. When you can take opportunity on that, so that you're fishing vertical, right? Yep. You're not having to fight with the motor to maintain that vertical or slight angle presentation. You're not getting all that scope in your line. You're not just your drift speed isn't so fast that you're trying to counter it with motor speed. It was like it was on.
And we were drifting. We would actually start on the opposite side of the hump and drift into it. Usually, at least I don't do that because that's just a good recipe to lose your gear. But with that minimal tidal exchange, we were able to do that.
Yeah, it all worked out, and worked out very well. And success was had. Right. And in short order, those ended up in the frying pan and extremely delicious. By the way,
live bait.
I don't think I want to fish anything else for lingcod. Of course, we just have to have Matt go out and catch it all for us because he's got nothing else to do.
When you fish all around the world, that is like one common thread that you will see almost everywhere.
Successful fishing?
For successful fishermen is live bait. Yeah. No matter where you go, whether it's Mexico, Hawaii, Florida, upper East Coast for bluefin, it's live bait.
Yeah. Well, nicely done. I definitely learned a handful of things that day. I think Matt might even take a look at a few tweaks in his program just to make it that much better, more successful. You know what? If you are looking to get out on some lingcod, don't know anything about it, check out Matt Messing Around Fishing Charters out of Puget Sound. Check him out. Look him up on Facebook. Look at his webpage. But check him out on Facebook. Easiest to just get a hold of him there. He's on social media quite a bit. Matt Messing will get it done for you. Okay, we're going to jump out for a quick break. We come back. We're going to be in the bait lab. You have a great how-to tutorial on getting folks ready for this Puget Sound Halibut opportunity.
Right.
And don't go anywhere because then later on in the show, we're actually going to show and premiere the 12 or 15-minute video that we created out of our day on the water with Matt in the lingcod fishery. You can see how successful and comical it was. A few things that happened that just still make me laugh. It was a fantastic day, so stay tuned for that. But before we get there, we'll jump out for a quick break. We come back. Tommy Donlan in the bait lab and everything you need to know to be successful on Puget Sound Halibut. That's just opened yesterday all the way through June 30th. Every other day, we want to make sure you are schooled up on exactly what you need to know. So we'll do that when we come back right here on FHN. Defiance boats are built without any structural wood materials. That is why we back our boats with a lifetime warranty. All of our Defiance boats come standard with large fish boxes that are fully insulated so that you can ice your fish properly all day. Defiance boats feature a 21 to 22 degree dead rise at the transom and a large reverse chine for incredible handling and stability offshore. Defiance boats are foam flotation filled and unsinkable for the ultimate in safety while fishing offshore. Defiance boats feature fuel-efficient hull designs with large fuel tank capacity so that you can have maximum fuel range for making long offshore runs completely safe and affordable. All Defiance boats come standard with self-bailing decks for improved safety while at sea. Defiance Boat offers all our boats with Honda outboard packages so that you can take full advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty from your Honda outboard. Defiance boats for all your boating needs, and let us help you get out on the water.
And welcome back to FHN. We are in the Bait Lab, presented to you by Max Lure. I'm Tommy Donlin. Tonight is a special topic. We are going to talk about halibut baits, okay? And it doesn't matter if you're fishing Mutiny Bay, if you're fishing the Eastern Strait, Nia Bay, or anywhere offshore or in between, okay? I'm going to cover everything from, what are the color schemes that we see, talk a little bit about UV and glow, and I'm going to walk you through the details about how to rig these baits, because that's what matters most, okay? We're going to talk about weight. We're going to talk about spreader bars versus slider rigs, when to use which one, J hooks versus circle hooks, and we're going to talk also about how to rig a bait onto these rigs. Now, Dwayne let me off the hook this week. He's going to do the messy part next week and show you how to brine the bait, and then we'll have him take one of those baits and actually put it on the hooks. But we're going to talk through it tonight. I'm going to show you some tricks that I use to keep that bait on the hook, because let's face it, not everybody has an electric reel, and when you throw it down 600 feet, you want to make sure that that bait stays on your rig as long as possible. Okay, all right, let's go to the table here. We're going to look at some baits, and we're going to talk about the very specifics that make a successful halibut rig. All right, so what you're looking at is a couple different products out on the table. The first thing you'll notice is that I've got a 14-inch pearl white B2 squid. This is its little brother, the 9-inch pearl white B2 squid. Now, these are UV reflective and pearl white. They aren't glow. If I'm fishing the coast, right, if I'm fishing out of La Push, Nia Bay, or Westport, my predominant lures are going to be pearl white or glow. Okay. Now, it's okay to have some UV in the equation, but don't forget that out of those locations offshore, we're fishing pretty deep. Okay, so the UV rays are not going to penetrate quite that deep. Okay, let's take a look at the details in this rig. Now, over here we have like a Yamashita hoochie or a P-line hoochie over here. And the key thing that you're going to notice right away is that I've got a float in here. Now, what I did is I took a spinning glow and I ripped its wings off. I know it's a horrible thing to do, but I did it. Now, you're also going to notice that the fat end of the spinning glow is at the top. Now, the reason for that is when that spinning glow goes into the top of this hoochie, I want the maximum area contacting the hoochie. What I found early on in my halibut fishing career is that I would tear apart the top of the hoochie if I did it the other way around. Okay, now you're going to have to apply a little bit of water, or spit, and kind of get that sucker up in there, but that's the way to go. The other thing you're going to notice is I've got some beads. There's nothing special about the beads. It's a spacer. Okay, now if we look at this rig right here, the spacer is important because you'll notice that I've got my trail hook just outside the skirt of this squid hoochie right here, and I've got the lead hook not riding the very top of the skirt, but down a little bit. If you don't have these spacers in here, you're going to scrunch up this squid at the top, and it's not going to look natural. So it's really important to make sure that you get the right spacing in here. So before you put your swivel on, you're going to get the spacing correct and then attach the swivel. All right, the next thing you're going to notice is this is heavy line, okay? Now, halibut are not line shy. You're looking at 250-pound big game as my go-to. I wouldn't go any less than 150-pound, okay? That's kind of my limit. In terms of the hooks, these are the hooks that you're looking at right here. They are Gamakatsu big river hooks, and they're awesome. The reason they're awesome is because they've got a really fine point, and they don't have a really big diameter, so they penetrate really easy, even with a lot of drag. One of the things that you have to remember when fishing halibut is you don't have to have a tight drag. Okay, you should fish a reel that has a good 500 yards of line on the reel, minimum. Okay, it's okay if that halibut takes a run. Let it run. A lot of times you don't realize it, but that halibut is going to come onto your bait and just lay on your bait. And when you go on the upswing to jig up, you're going to hook them in the side. Now, we've caught some 75 to 85-pound halibut hooked in the side, okay? If you tighten down the drag, you're just going to rip that hook straight out. So we actually don't fish that tight of a drag on halibut, okay? That's the thing to remember. Now, the other thing you're going to notice about these rigs is that I've got the barbs on every single one of these rigs. These rigs right here are for the ocean, okay? For that opener that we just got, areas 5 through 10 that opened yesterday, you're going to want to go in and you're going to want to pinch all the barbs in order to be legal, okay? Don't forget to do that. I've got 2 sets of rigs. I've got kind of one for the straight, and I've got one set of rigs for the ocean. So that's another important factor there. In terms of length of leader, you don't really need it that long, 18 inches at most, Okay, let's take a look at the spreader bar part of the equation. I'm going to kind of scrunch these guys up and move them aside and bring the spreader bar in here. Now, the spreader bar is a great tool, okay? One of the things you're going to want to do is you're going to take your weight and you're going to attach it to the short end of the spreader bar. Now, I like to fish a lot of rocky areas for halibut. Why? Why is that? Because a lot of those larger halibut like to hang out where their food source is or just off of their food source, and that's near rocky structure. And so what you're going to do is you're going to use some monofilament and you're going to tie a loop with your monofilament onto this weight and then put it on the spreader bar. That way, if you get your spreader bar hung up, this weight will break away and you won't lose the rest of your rig. Okay, so that's just kind of an important thing to remember there. Now you're going to notice I've got everything from a 4-pound to a 3-pound to a 2-pound. And that's going to depend on if you are anchored up or if you are drifting and what that current is like and what the wind is like. Okay, if it's really windy and the current's pushing you, you're going to have to start bumping up your weights. Never had to use more than 4 pounds, and the majority of the time I'm using a 2-pound cod weight. Now if you can, get the longest weight possible. Now, why would you do this? For a couple reasons. First, it's going to float your bait a little bit off the bottom, and you can also do that, you know, with a little bit bigger dropper. But the other thing is a longer weight has a less likelihood of getting stuck in the rocks. Super critical. Now, what I tell people, you know, in terms of, they ask me, you know, when do I fish a slider rig? Okay, and this is a slider rig, by the way. Let's take a look at this really quick before we talk about your decision gate in terms of which one you choose, spreader bar or slider rig. Slider rig is very cheap to make. It's very simple. You're looking at 200-pound, 250-pound tuna cord here, okay? And all it is a couple swivels on each end. One, you got a snap swivel or a corkscrew swivel, and then on the other end you just have a straight swivel. This goes to your main line, okay? This end here goes to your leader with your hoochie, and then you just attach your weight to the middle one. Now the key here is that when the halibut takes your leader, your hook, right, and your bait, the weight kind of slides back and forth. So the halibut doesn't feel the weight. It was the same concept that we were talking about with live bait lingcod fishing. You feel the bite, you give it line, the fish inhales your bait or inhales your rig, and then you apply the drag. The fish never feels the weight. Same concept. I like to use the slider rigs. Okay, this is talking about the decision gate. I like to use the slider rigs when there's a little bit of current. Okay, if there's a little bit of current, you know, your rig will kind of float in the water away from the rig. If there's no current at all and you drop down, what's going to happen is you're going to basically put a U in your line. Your rig will come up and contact your main line, and then you'll have a mess, which means you're going to be wishing, not fishing. Okay, remember that. All right, spreader bar is awesome. It's almost foolproof, and the way you rig it with your leader coming off the long end of the spreader bar, you're not going to get tangled. So if you start to get a slow drift, this is another great option. If you're using circle hooks, I'm not a circle hook guy, but if you are using circle hooks, I would go with a slider rig all day. Okay, that way you feel the bite, you give the fish line, let it eat it. Give it, you know, with bigger fish, bigger baits, it's not like a 2-second tuna count. You're going to give it a full 10 seconds, 15 seconds, maybe even a little bit more, and then engage the drag so that you're sure that circle hook seats in the corner of that fish's mouth. Okay? If you have a spreader bar rig, it's going to feel the weight. As soon as it takes the bait, it's going to feel the weight, and the weight is going to help rip that bait out of the fish's mouth. So keep that in mind. All right. Okay, you're in an area where, say, the dogfish are a big problem, okay, and you keep putting down a bait, it gets eaten by a dogfish. We've got a few areas. Swiftsure has been notorious for this in the past. There's a couple places in the Strait where this can happen. It just depends on the year and how bad the dogfish are. Okay, look here. We've got a couple products. Power bait, you know, I don't know how they pulled this off, but I will get a lot less dogfish if I'm running a power bait grub and no bait, as opposed to if I'm running a herring or shad or octopus or whatnot. So these things work really well. When we run double rigs for, say, you know, lingcod, when we're running a pipe jig and a hook up top off of another line, we're going to use power bait or big hammer swim baits. And when you run those artificials, the dogfish just don't key on them. So these are part of our arsenal. These right here, your big hammers, these are also part of the offshore arsenal. These are 9-inch. This color here is a glow bug, glows like crazy. So don't be afraid to mix it up with artificials if you're running into, a dogfish problem, or if you're running into, say, a yellow eye problem. And by the way, speaking of yellow eye, one of the things that you're required to have on your boat, absolutely, is a descender device. Okay, now there's a couple different kinds. You've got the sequelizer, which is this guy right here. And there's two different types of sequelizers. There's one that is 100, 200, 300 foot, and one that is a shallower water. This one's the one that goes up to 300. You basically, when you rotate the end, when you twist the end, that sets the depth, okay? It'll pop out or screw in, and that controls where your setting is in terms of depth, okay? Then all you do when you catch that yellow eye that you can't keep, you're gonna take this, hook it in his jaw, and then I like to use a downrigger. So I'll take a downrigger, I'll get at least a 15-pound ball because there's some large yellow eye out there, and I'll hook him onto this is attached to the downrigger ball on the downrigger, and I'll take this guy and put it on his mouth, put him in the water, release that downrigger ball, and you know what? On my electronics, I've got a Raymarine Axiom Pro, I've got two of them, but on the back deck, I've got an Axiom Pro 12, and I can see that rockfish going down in the water column. I can see the point at which this sequelizer releases that rockfish, and I can watch that rockfish on my sonar swim down and away. So I know these things work, and I know those rockfish survive. So you got to have one anyway. You might as well get a good one. I think these are like 40 or 50 bucks. It's well worth the investment. The fact is that we're able to have a lot of our offshore fisheries for those deep water lingcod because we're releasing them. If you let them float and they die, our seasons are going to get shut down. So don't skimp on a release device. Now, if you have to, I'm all about efficiency. Okay, I'm all about efficiency. The sequelizer is efficient. There's a Shelton descender device that works. Don't get me wrong. Some of those fish, those rockfish, are so big that you're still going to have to attach a downrigger ball. So if you put it on a rod, you're going to have a really good cardio workout reeling it back up. And I'm not saying you can't do it. You can. You just may be a little tired for a while. So this, you hook it upside down in the fish's mouth. You put the downrigger ball on it, and you send it down, and then you give it a good yank, and you slide it off the fish's mouth. Okay, these work. I think a lot of places give these away for free, or they're a couple bucks, but you're going to get a workout. If you're into working out, no problem. But sequelizer is the way to go. All right, one of the other things we got to cover, this is critical. Sometimes you're fishing deep. You may be fishing 600 feet deep. I want to make sure that you guys know that stretchy thread is your friend. Okay, stretchy thread is your friend. So you're going to take your trout, and if you look here, I've got an imaginary trout. Maybe we'll use this. How about that? Okay, you're going to hook the trout or whatever bait you're using. You're going to take the hook, and you're going to put it through the bottom jaw of the trout, out the top in the middle of his head. You're going to take this back hook, and you're going to hook it in his back and out and bury the eye of the second hook in its back. And then you're going to take stretchy thread, and you're going to wrap the entire thing, okay? And then you're going to do 3 half hitches with the stretchy thread. And even when you get hit, when that halibut or lingcod hits your rig, you are still going to maintain that bait, which is super critical, okay? Bait's expensive, and it's a deep drop. So you want to make it last. So stretchy thread is absolutely key. The other part that I want to mention is in the bigger B2 squid, we're using a float. Maybe the bobber dogger guys can tell me what this guy is, but this helps keep this big rig neutrally buoyant. So it doesn't sink, it doesn't float up, and that's where I want it. I want it right off the bottom, but it's critical to put this up in the head of the bait. All right, I think we've covered A to Z. That's a halibut rig right there, okay? Pearl white, UV, glow. Those are critical colors, and you can kind of play with it from there with purples and pinks, but make sure you have those key elements. You've got all of the tools of success. If you do not catch a halibut, reach out to us here at FHN. We will help you.
Marine is the one-stop shop for the Pacific Northwest angler. Whether you are looking for a small skiff to fish the Sound or rivers, or a huge offshore tuna machine, Defiance Marine has it. At Defiance Marine, be sure to power your boat with a Honda outboard package. Take advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty on your Honda outboards. Our service department is always here to help and serve you as the customer. Did you know Defiance Marine has boat financing experts to help get you the best term rates on your new boat purchase? If you need financing for that new boat, call us today. We guarantee the best price, best service on a repower for your current boat. Defiance Marine is a Honda Premier dealership and one of the largest on the West Coast. Defiance Marine also carries all the gear that you will need. Everything from auxiliary kicker motors to fishing tackle and bait. Defiance Marine has certified technicians that are top-notch at their job. Some of the best in the Pacific Northwest at evaluating your boat issues and problems. Stop in today or give us a call for all your needs at Defiance Marine.
At Metal Supermarkets, we understand your need for fast access to a wide variety of metals, so we've made it easy. Our network of stores carries a wide variety of metal in all different types, shapes, sizes, and grades, with no required minimum order size. Who could ask for more? Simply tell us your dimensions online, on the phone, or in store, and we'll cut or process the metal to your desired size, often while you wait. We offer same-day service and can deliver the metal right to your door or job site. We even source hard-to-find metals, so no matter what you're looking for, Metal Supermarkets can provide it for you. And we're conveniently located with brick-and-mortar stores in Seattle and Portland, so you can check out our extensive stock for yourself. Superior customer service is guaranteed. Quality service from real people who know metal. We are the small quantity metal experts. To place an order, simply call a store to talk to one of our knowledgeable customer service representatives. Fill out a quote request online, order off of our e-commerce website, or visit one of our many locations and pick out the metal you want. Whether you're a small or large business, government, homeowner, or hobbyist, we make it easy for you to buy the exact metal and just the amount you need. We've been doing this for over 30 years, so we know how to get it done. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience stores for metal. Visit or call a Metal Supermarket store near you today.
What if there was a smarter way to search for your new home? Introducing the Better Homes and Gardens real estate website and mobile app. This revolutionary new search tool puts your needs first. Narrow your search to what matters most to your family, like school data, school districts, and even walk scores. Get easy access to your local affiliated agent, as well as unique and local insights about neighborhoods and properties directly within the app. With synced and saved preferences, you'll always pick up wherever you left off. Get your smarter search started today with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate.
Peeling line, so that's always
that's a good, that's a ling.
Yeah.
Okay, here we are. We are North Puget Sound. Me and my boy Tommy. And we are out here with Matt Messing. Hold on a second. We're out here. There he is. We're out here with Matt Messing, messing around fishing charters, and we're going after lingcod this morning. Check this out. Live bait. That is what is on the agenda today. What do you think, Tommy?
It's gonna be a beautiful day, man. We're gonna whack them. Live bait, lingcod, baby, all day.
All day long. So tide is perfect this week. Last week when it finally opened up, had pretty big tide change. Today, we're looking at a total movement of 3 feet on our water, which is gonna be really, really good to go after these lingcod. So stay tuned. We're gonna show you how we rig up. We're gonna show you how we get on the lingcod. We're gonna show you how we read our electronics and find the pinnacles and the drop-offs. You're gonna learn a lot. This is gonna be a good time. Here we go. Here we go.
Mr. Lingcod.
What you got, boys?
Oh, yeah, what you got there? There we go. Live bait lingcod, man.
I like it.
Love it. Took the live herring. Look at that. Inhaled hook. Look, circle hook right in the corner of the mouth. Textbook.
Perfect hookups every time.
Yes, sir. The only way to fish, baby. Live bait.
The aftermath of bringing a lingcod on deck.
Curious what they eat. That's what's in our tank.
Breakfast of champions.
Of course, we got to have 3 cameras in order to make sure we prove that I can catch one. That Dwayne can catch one.
Oh, hey. This feels a little bigger than a rockfish.
All right.
A little bigger
All
than
right.
a rockfish.
I like it.
We came right past our marker boat.
There we go.
We have guys,
this. Thank you.
we have guys sitting out here on anchor. Tommy, does that make any sense to you?
It doesn't make any sense to me, you know.
Here we go.
If you're not catching in the one
He's not
spot,
a monster, but he's not bad.
that is not a bad lingcod.
Right in the corner of
That's
the mouth.
yep, crab eater.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The beauty of using circle hooks.
There you go.
Hooked right in the corner of the mouth.
Thank you, Matt.
Yes.
Catch me, lead.
And that is about 2 hours worth of work. That was... Of course, Dwayne comes over to my side and I break off immediately.
You know what? I had to go around the back of the boat. I had so much scope in there.
You probably slid his hook down your line and right into the corner
you know
of that
what?
mouth.
That makes a lot of sense.
Bam.
That's what happened.
We should
Little
see.
guy.
We should see if his hook's in there.
Yeah.
All right. Nice.
Open that mouth.
Yeah.
I meant the fish.
Oh, I do
Nice
what I'm
work,
told.
brother. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're here on the water today out on the Puget Sound fishing lingcod, and I want to show you kind of my live bait rig setup. Now, there's no substitute for live bait. We know that much. Today we've got kind of a mix of shiner perch. We've got herring. We got a couple flounder in the tank. Okay, and the setup is pretty simple. It's not a lot of gear. It's a pretty cheap deal. So basically, I got my main line. I'm running 30-pound maxima here. I've got to go into a swivel, and then I've got a swivel that's just sliding on the line, okay? And you can use a slider, whatever you really want to use here. And then I've got about a foot dropper to a 5-ounce cannonball sinker. And then I've got about a 4-foot leader or so to a circle hook, okay? Now this is really where the magic happens, okay? Got the barb pinched, and I chose to tie a perfection loop on this hook. And what that does is when you hook your bait, it lets it pivot right at the hook, so you don't have the hook, you don't have the knot constraining the bait. Okay, let's grab a bait and I'll show you how to hook these. Now we hook them a couple different ways depending on what we want the bait to do. That last one was hooked right in the top of the shoulder, and when it gets to the bottom, it kind of pulls the bait up off the bottom a little bit, and he kind of swims around like that. Anytime he gets to the end of his leash, he dives up and set it down. When we tuna fish, a lot of times when you butt hook them, it'll send the bait down. Since we're fishing on the bottom for lingcod, we want to send the bait up.
Okay, just bait tank etiquette. Don't dump the net in the tank. All right, here we go. So here's our wonderful herring. You can go nose hook or you can hook it right in the back, okay? I'm actually gonna change hands so you can see it a little bit better. And if you do it right, you won't take all the scales off of it like I just did, okay? Right like that, right in the back, okay? And then you're gonna throw that in the water, undo your weight, and that bait is gonna swim off and catch a lingcod. Okay, now you're just gonna free spool it to the bottom, nice and easy. And then when you get to the bottom, engage the drag, and you're gonna feel the line, okay? Actually, you're gonna keep it in free spool until you get the, get the right depth. And once you get your depth adjusted, you're gonna feel that line. And you're gonna feel the bite. When you feel the bite on a circle hook, you wanna give line. Okay, there's bottom. Now I'm just gonna keep the line in my fingertips, and I'm gonna feel that bait swimming around.
Yes, sir. It'll take 36 inches all day. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Take me around the bow.
Oh, that's a good one. Nice. Tommy has one theory: big bait, big fish.
Got that giant herring?
I wonder if I hooked him and then he hung up.
Is that shaking, ain't it?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
There we go, leader.
You got a leader.
Back to the bottom.
Back down.
And no, I'm not Hollywooding it, okay?
How big do you want that fish to be, Tommy?
35.9 inches, I think is appropriate.
Tommy is red rod, getting it done.
Thrasher rods, baby.
Thrasher rods.
All right, here we go. Oh, he's over.
Way over. Way over.
Oh yeah, baby. Let's get some pictures.
That's a good one though.
Crap, look at that monster.
Look at that dude.
Yeah, baby.
Tommy don't mess around. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Actually, dude, he's a keeper.
Is he?
He's 36 on the nose, dude.
Right on.
What we try to look for out here while we're fishing is along these little ledges. As you can see, Dwayne will post a picture up of a nice shot of you see a big school of cool backs, probably. Some rockfish down there hanging out, and then little lumps on the bottom. The links can be a little harder to see down there.
All right, let's take a look at these electronics. It's Ray Marine.
Axiom Pros.
Okay.
Rewind. You see a bunch of fish, you want to get back on it, pull that screen backwards.
Yeah.
Click, hold, add waypoint, okay. Bam, you just got more info on the screen. You know where that is. You can get back around on it and catch some more fish.
So you just went back on rewind and
Boom.
marked all those fish we went over and then saved it, put a waypoint and saved it.
Yep.
Perfect. What depth are we fishing, Matt?
So right now we're fishing from 60 to 35 feet. So that's kind of the rise that we got going on right here that a lot of these fish are hanging out by.
And are we pushing, are we actually pushing upslope or are we fishing downslope?
We're going upslope right now. So we're starting out deep and we're working our way up that ledge. And then we're coming over the top of it. And there's even, so there's a backside also on this one, which is kind of nice. And sometimes you'll find them hiding out on the backside. So you come over the top of the hill and drop right down on top of them. I believe that's what happened with Tommy's last lane. We just had to let go.
What do you got going on here?
Look at this.
Dwayne?
This reel.
Yeah.
Broke. It came right off of that mount, whatever reason.
And you got a fish on.
Yeah.
And there's a fish. And there's a fish.
I think we got a lingcod.
It's right here.
You got a lingcod.
That's a nice one.
There he is.
There you go.
Yeah.
You get it in here. You grab the net.
was about to say.
This is what you
What
do,
kind of
Tony.
black magic is this?
Well, you hold it in your hand.
Oh,
Yeah,
there he is. Yeah, sir.
That's a greenling.
He's a blue one.
Oh, it's a blue.
He's been eating some crabbies.
How am I doing, Tommy?
You're doing beautiful, man.
Look at this, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, Phil.
Coming over the rail and into the pail.
That might be a little short.
We'll throw him on the measuring stick and see if he goes. What do you got, Ryan?
Well, I'm kind of acting like a lingcod. Got some head shake.
Show us how to fight these fish.
Those pullback don't really shake, shake their head all that much. It's a little better fish. Oh, there we go. You took off killing line, so that's always.
Oh, that's a good. That's a ling.
Yeah.
That's what you want.
Yep. Not a very big bait either, Matt. Just one of the little shiners. Maybe 3 inches. Under the boat. Oh no, what do we got here? Look at the size of that guy.
Holy cow, that is a big old quill. That quillback was pulling line. Look at the mouth.
Quillback took line off
my.
his drag.
He's trying to break himself off on that Glacier Bay over there. Yes! Oh! Oh! Come on! Yes, sir!
Get on Tommy again.
Yeah! And again! And again!
Sure you're not on bottom?
Oh, really? Really, Dwayne?
Yeah.
Really? Yes. Yes. You see the tree shaker?
Let's see here.
Okay, you see the head shaking there? He's just holding against the current. Oh, what a beautiful day out here.
Man. A little bit of rain, but that don't matter.
Comes. Let's see what he looks like.
Yeah. Another dandy.
He's gonna be pretty. All right, man. Well, into my top shot, I got deep color. Here he comes. And that, my friends, is a lingcod.
Oh.
Yeah! Yes, sir!
That will be over the limit. Slot limit.
He looks mondo size. Let's see.
Yeah, he does.
Circle hook right in the corner of the jaw, baby, all day.
Do you ever catch small fish, Tommy?
I try not to. I try not to. There he is. Look at this. Look at this. Woo!
That's a keeper right there. Actually, that's probably got to go back.
Yep. Here, let's get a picture with this guy.
Not a bad day, boys.
Not at all. Not at all.
Puget Sound Lingcod.
That's right. I think we ended up with 14 on the day.
Something like that.
14, 15.
One or two oversized.
Yeah, two oversized, a couple unders, and then just these mean keepers.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean, these are going to be beautiful.
That is right at the slot limit. Matt, again, the slot limit for those that don't know.
26 to 36 inches.
Right. Yeah.
And we fished live bait all day.
All day
Yeah.
long.
And they just absolutely
Counted
crushed it. Lost count of how many other fish we released.
Yeah.
So many rockfish out here now in the sound, and it's such a great thing to see.
Yeah.
You see a fishery bouncing back. It's getting healthy out here. There's bait everywhere.
Schools of fish that we're seeing on electronics,
Yeah.
So just a fantastic day. Can't thank you enough, man. We had a blast.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming
Thank
out,
you.
guys. Yeah,
Appreciate it.
guys. Yeah.
He's wearing the right gear. You want to get some of that? Just
Fish at Northwest, baby.
yep, get on.
Look at these
Get
fatties.
that fishing knowledge. These guys know what's up.
All right, we're gonna go fillet these out. We'll see you guys later.
Fish fry.
Welcome back in studio. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I know my partner certainly did.
I certainly did.
Yes, you relived your day of pummeling on the lingcod.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. And you know what I really like is to put those those live baits down, those little swimmers, and they're kind of just darting around, and all of a sudden they get a little antsy. They get a little anxious, right? They really start pulsating that line. All of a sudden, boom, boom, rod lowers up. Yeah, if you have an opportunity to get out and do that, you definitely want to. It is a really good time. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. We have a goal to bring you weekly, when possible, anytime we're out in the water, in the woods, and recording what we have going on now. That is part of our weekly dose of information, is to let you enjoy watching an outdoor produced content, because we can't just sit in here and talk about it all the time.
I know. We got to go out and walk.
Got to get out and get it done and show folks that what we're talking about actually works, and we enjoy doing it as much as all of you, and of course sharing that harvest with friends and family. Absolutely. And I know you definitely took that home and enjoyed it. You had the cheeks out of that big one that night.
Yeah. Yep, that night.
And
a little garlic, a little butter, a little lemon.
Just throw them in a pan.
Throw in a pan.
Fantastic.
Game over.
Yep, and I made some fantastic fish and chips for the crew at work. Well received. Yeah, good thing we didn't get a fire after that, because I think a few guys would have been puking in their masks. But that was a really good time. We had a great outing. More to come. We got some trips we're lining up here that we're going to get out and just get that done. So, all right, we're going to jump out for a quick break. We come back. Stay tuned through the commercial. A lot of new folks joining us tonight. Really appreciate that. If you have questions, hit us up on the messenger here, either Facebook or YouTube. We're monitoring them both, can answer questions. We'll get to some of these at the break, so we'll jump out for a quick break. We come back in the kitchen, Chef Kelly and Sheri, and halibut Veracruz. It's halibut and lingcod season. We kind of built this show around mostly halibut and lingcod. For those of you that enjoy halibut, looking for a different type of recipe, we're calling this our Recipe of the Week Rewind. Due to this Corona thing, we haven't been able to get Chef back over here for several weeks. Went back into the vault, pulled out this one on halibut because it's easy to do and it is so flavorful. It's a fantastic recipe you're going to definitely want to try after you get out there and get some of those halibut. You can also use it on lingcod. It's going to taste fantastic. So,
and just if there's anybody out there that doesn't like halibut, you can come halibut fishing with us.
Right.
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah.
Really?
Does that work?
You just
if they don't want their halibut, I mean, I'll take their halibut.
Oh, right? Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah.
But they want to go fishing.
Yeah. We need that possession limit.
Yeah.
That possession limit. Anyway, all right. Stick with us through the break. We'll be right back with the Recipe of the Week in the kitchen right here on FHN.
Allied boats are built by West Coast fishermen for West Coast fishermen. Deep V 21-degree dead rise at the transom guarantees a smooth ride no matter the conditions. Allied offers all of our boats with Honda outboard packages so that you can take full advantage of the reliability and 5-year top-to-prop warranty from your Honda outboard. Allied boats range from 19 to 32 foot in length, so no matter what type of heavy gauge boat you are looking for, we have it for you. All of our Corsair 21 foot and larger designs come standard with reverse chine that is welded inside and out with no extrusions below the waterline, so that you will never have to worry about corrosion problems down the road. Get out on the water today in a boat that you can trust and enjoy with Allied Boats. Contact us at Allied Boats today to learn much more about our incredible fishing machines.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Fish Hunt Northwest. We're here in the kitchen again with Chef Kelly for this week, and we have halibut.
Yes, delicious halibut. Look at how big and beautiful that
Yeah,
I'm so
Chef,
jealous.
Did you get that?
Shut up, okay?
I think
It was
that's
killing me.
Dwayne or Jordan. Or,
Yeah.
Okay.
So today we're making a halibut Veracruz style. So it's in a very interesting Mexican sauce that has some,
Yeah, I see some interesting ingredients for a Mexican dish.
Right? If you closed your eyes and said, okay, whatever, this is,
whatever you have in
Italian.
your fridge.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start with our halibut. We got our pan hot, ready to go.
Okay, and I see you're using the cast iron so it can go straight in the oven. Are we putting that in the oven today too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Make sure you season this a little bit, because a lot of people go a little too light on their seasoning.
Yes. Do not be lazy when you're seasoning.
Yes, and season both sides. Okay. So, get some oil in the pan. As you can see, nice and hot. You can see it sizzling away. Always lay your fish down away from you. Okay? Don't do the dropping. You're never gonna beat it. I promise you.
A little less mess too.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So while that's searing away, I got a little oil in the pan. So we're gonna start with about a quarter of a yellow onion diced. Okay. About one fresh jalapeno.
Like a small size, medium size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of research with other people, and you'll see some guys will say, "Oh, well, let's use a canned jalapeno." Yes, you can use a jarred jalapenos. That's fine.
And you put some garlic in there?
Yeah, and I put about a tablespoon of garlic in there.
Okay.
So yeah, you can use some jarred jalapenos. That's fine. Just whatever's available to you.
Now, and you can't really judge a jalapeno, right? Because not until you bite into it.
Yeah, and that's one of the problems with a jalapeno. It's not a given about what heat level a jalapeno will be, because sometimes it can be like a 1 out of 10, and sometimes it'll be up there like a 3. You're going, whoa.
In the same batch that you buy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I got about a cup of diced canned tomatoes, and there again, there's also been a lot of controversy over, well, use fresh tomatoes. I've done it both ways, and I'm not really, not really sold on the whole, it's way better with the fresh tomato kind of a deal.
Okay.
So that was about a tablespoon of capers. Okay, we're going to add 2 bay leaves. This is about, we'll say 5 sliced green olives in there.
Those are those large green olives.
Yeah.
And we found some with jalapenos and garlic in them.
Right, but most of the time, the ones you're going to encounter are going to be the ones that have the pimentos in them.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, we're going to add just a little bit of water just to give a little bit of liquid in there. But you can use, chicken stock or fish stock if you have it, or maybe clam juice, if you want to go that route too. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So
you put that in the oven at what degrees?
Do 400.
400.
And just kind of watch it.
Okay.
Okay.
And we're going to let that simmer down, Chef?
Going to let that simmer and get it all nice and good and happy.
Okay. Well, then we'll go ahead and throw it back to you guys in the studio while we do that. Yep. Hey everyone, welcome back to the kitchen, and we are finishing off this halibut Veracruz.
Yes.
Yes, I'm excited.
Okay, so if you're just joining us now, we have our halibut was in the oven. We pan-seared it, then we threw it in the oven, then we started our sauce, and so we just got to finish our sauce first, and then we will.
Okay.
Let's check on that fish here. Just a little bit of give to it still. Halibut has a little bit of a lot of water content, and so it's a little softer than other fishes.
Fishes?
So, yeah, they're fishes. And the fishes in the sea.
Fishes in the sea.
So we're going to add a little bit extra fresh oregano, lots of parsley. This is kind of conducive of that.
Okay.
Okay. Let's pick out our bay leaves. They've done their job.
That's not a typical Mexican
ingredient either.
Spice? Yeah, no.
Yeah, I know. It's unique. That's why I was like, everybody needs to kind of see this dish for what it is.
Yeah, looks good.
Right.
Smells delicious. So unusual for you.
I know, right? Every once in a while I get lucky.
Yeah.
Add a little bit of the juice here. Okay. And then we have our fish.
You made that look pretty, didn't you?
Oh yeah. Gotta love a pan roasted
halibut. Bet it'd be even better if you had caught it yourself.
Zip it.
There's not too much I can give you a hard time about, so I'm just gonna have to do that. Continue.
You gotta get your licks in when you can,
yeah,
huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're just gonna garnish with a little bit of parsley because we did have parsley on there. Yeah. Let's do one.
Looks great.
This time. Then we'll just add a little bit of fresh olive oil on top too. Just a little bit of drizzle and drizzle around.
Oh.
There you go, guys. Because, I don't like it when you cook extra virgin olive oil too much because it kind of loses its flavor because it's a really volatile, flavor to it. So,
how long do you think you had that halibut in the oven?
Probably 10 minutes, but it just depends on the thickness of your fillet.
All right.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, you see how beautiful that is.
Wow.
I mean, that is just restaurant quality right there, guys, and you guys have the access to it here in the Pacific Northwest. Should fully on take advantage of it.
And it's halibut.
Veracruz.
Veracruz.
Yes.
Okay, well, we are certainly digging in.
You can. Keto.
Yeah, I can.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right, well, while we do that, we will throw it back to you guys in the studio. Yes, I can.
Hey, welcome back in the studio. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the recipe of the week, Rewind Halibut Veracruz. Very tasty.
Yeah.
Something for you and Justine to try. Absolutely. So, especially if we go out and get some fresh halibut this next weekend, huh?
That's right.
Yeah, that's the goal. Hey, lots of questions popping on here, Tommy. One of them, actually, it was asked multiple times about pursuing and catching your pile perch or your live bait.
Yep.
Either, herring and or pile perch.
Yeah.
You have some options.
Yeah, sabiki rig is the way to go.
Yep.
Totally. And, the thing that you want to do is make sure that you right size it for the bait that you're trying to catch. So if it's shiner perch, you're going to be using some pretty darn small hooks, like some number 12 hooks, pretty small. When I was a kid, I actually used sabiki rigs, and I used golden hooks with just a little bit of tinsel on the hook, and the ones with the little red and green beads right above the hook. Those are the ones that really work well.
Yeah.
The other thing that I do for shiner perch is I'll take a mussel off the dock, crack it, put a little bit of on a small hook, and use that.
Yeah.
And so any sabiki rig that has like that little flash on it, just a little piece of paper, that's money.
Yeah.
You're gonna get them.
Doesn't really matter the color of the head either. And most of those are UV. They got some glow to them, or UV, or a little bit of flash. And just off the docks, man, them things. And if you really want to draw them in, you scrape off some of those piling barnacles, and just scatter those out in the water. It draws them all in. Now you just drop your sabiki rig in there and have your bucket with your salt water in there, so you can unhook them and just start dropping your bait in there.
The other trick that I really like: take a can of cat food, punch a couple holes in it. Put it in a like an onion bag or like a perforated bag, and you kind of shake the bag a little bit,
and
it'll start to let out some of that
tie it to the dock.
Food. Yep, tie it to the dock.
What? Don't just throw the can in the water?
Yeah. Just shake it a little bit, and all those pile perch will come up into that chum slick.
Yep.
And then you can just kick it with your foot, shake it a little bit more comes out. More of those pile perch come right in, and you don't even have to go anywhere.
Yeah. When you're done fishing salmon for the day and you're tied up at the dock and you're gotten to clean your fish and you throw those entrails out into the water, and pile perch come out of everywhere.
That's right.
It's a feeding frenzy. So there's no shortage on pile perch, indoor herring when they're moving through. And so get out there, catch some fresh bait, and keep them live, overnight in your bucket, and get out there and fish them the next day. Or if you want to take it up a notch, like Matt, build your little holding pen in your boathouse or off your dock.
The other one that's really critical, Paul Herman just asked, how about a bait tank? And a bait tank to keep bait is absolutely critical. Defiance Boats, over there in Port Orchard, they make the perfect bait tank. And there is such thing as a West Coast bait tank meant for our bait here. On the East Coast, you get a lot of mackerel, a lot of goggle eyes, a lot of baits that are really super hardy.
Yeah.
But our baits, our anchovies, our herring, our pile perch are not that hardy.
Right.
And so you really want a bait tank that's going to flow from top to bottom and drain from top to bottom, and you want it to be circular so those fish can kind of school up in the tank without bumping into each other.
Not getting stuck in corners.
You don't want anything sharp in your tank, no nets in your tank. You don't want to gill net all the fish with your bait net.
Yep.
So Defiance Boats for your bait tank.
Excellent tip.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. We covered a lot of ground here tonight, mister.
We did.
Holy smokes.
What an awesome show.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a great time kicking all this info out to you guys tonight. Make sure you join us throughout the week, day in and day out. Tommy and I are posting a ton of information on our Facebook page or Instagram. Go to our Facebook page, go to Instagram, go to our YouTube channel, subscribe if you would please. Those numbers are starting to climb for us. Really appreciate all the support. If you have questions throughout the week, hit us up on Messenger on Facebook. We're here to answer and steer you in the right direction. Also, follow us on our Facebook page. Post up your pictures of your outings. Get your kids out. Show us your successes. And it's okay to have failures because we do often. And so if you have questions in regards to those, make sure you post them up and let us know. But we're here to interact with you throughout the week and be relevant and ask you to do the same. And take our content, spread it around. The more people that join this party every single week, the more we appreciate it. And it is growing.
Yeah, and that's a good show idea. We should do the worst mistakes we've ever made fishing or hunting.
I would have to put that in about probably 8 or 9 shows. I could just stack them up. I could just keep
what not to do.
Yeah. I don't know. People might get bored with that. It's like these guys are losers.
Hey, if we can save people time and money, I'm all for it.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to do a little spin-off on that. I was going to produce a show called Retool the Tool. The guy that constantly just fails, and you introduce or interject the the pro to come and take them, under wing and take them by and show them exactly how to do it.
That's like a makeover show.
Yeah,
that's like Pimp My Ride.
Yeah. This is called Retool the Tool. So you're the tool.
I'm the tool,
and I'm going to get a pro in here to teach you.
Okay,
hypothetically.
Yeah. Oh, okay, good.
So
good.
Anyway, all right. Join us next Thursday right here out of the studio, live and in color, for another fantastic 2-hour episode. We have tons to cover. There is a lot of stuff going on. We're bringing you some fantastic bait labs next week.
Yeah.
We're going to be curing up some trout. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Walk out of there all green. That's what we love to do. Get in there and actually cure bait, show you guys how to do it, get you ready to hit the water and be successful. So, yes, join us next Thursday right here, 6 p.m. Until then, have a great week. Get out, catch some fish, and share those photos with us here on our Facebook page, and enjoy. All right, we'll see you next week.